Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Lewis back at you with another video. Oh yeah, and today we're going to be talking about the balance between knowledge and ignorance. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't hit the notification icon, make sure you hit the notification icon. And if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. And you can do it from this second right now, or you can wait until you finish watching the video to see if you actually like it. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it if you're watching already. So let's go ahead and get started. So knowledge, right? So here's the thing. When I see knowledge, there's so much knowledge out there. There's just so much. And I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die and I'm still not gonna know all the knowledge that's out there in the world. That's probably one of the things that I'm very, very sure of. That's like I have like no doubt, 100% that I'm gonna die and I'm not gonna know everything. I'm gonna die not knowing everything about the world. There's still gonna be some things that I will not figure out, no matter how hard I try. And that's just the reality of it. Now here's the thing that people don't actually conceptualize and really think about. And who knows, maybe as an introvert, maybe you thought about this, maybe you haven't consciously put it together in your mind. But here's the thing. Here is the thing. Knowledge is like a faucet. It's like a faucet you have to open and you have to control. Because here's the thing. You as an introvert and you as a student of personal development, you have a purpose. You have something that you're going after. You have like this big vision, right? You have this big goal that you're going after. You're pursuing it, right? You're going all in. You've committed. You have this cause, this impact that you want to make, right? And that's very cool. That's perfectly fine. That's freaking amazing. That's awesome. Make sure you keep going at it. But here's the thing. There's also other things out there that you can pursue. There's just so much. And depending on what you decide, there's already going to be a lot of knowledge. And whatever it is that you decide to go after, whatever your purpose is, there's already a lot of information to be learned from that industry. Everything from its history to like the innovations that are being created at this second to things that are being made right now and things that already exist. So there's just a lot for you to learn. There's a lot for you to learn from the inside out. There's a lot of people that you're supposed to meet in that industry. There's a lot of people you need to learn from. There's a lot of courses you might have to take. There's a lot of education, a lot of books, a lot of classes, a lot of courses, stuff like that. There's just a lot of education for that specific industry, right? Now here's the problem. A lot of people don't control the faucet of their knowledge, and then they start to diverse. They start to go into other industries. They start to pursue, like let's just say, let's just use our classic example, right? You want to become a very good writer, so you go, right? You're like, I'm committed to writing. So then, and maybe there's a specific type of genre you want to pursue in writing. So let's just say, for this instance, you want to pursue let's just say you want to pursue horror. I don't know why I said horror, but let's just say you want to pursue the horror genre, right? So you want to write books about horror, and let's just say that your demographic is 20-year-olds, right? You want 20-year-olds reading your horror books, right? So then that's a specific demographic there. So once you've committed to doing that, what are you going to want to do? You're going to want to study that specific demographic. So you're going to want to go in there and actually read all these books about horror that were made specifically for 20-year-olds, and you want to see what type of writing style they're using, how are they writing, what kind of vocabulary they're using, what kind of storylines are they using, how are they doing the twists here and there, what kind of settings are they using and stuff like that, and how good, what was the book, how many copies did it sell. So you still want to know like the financial side of it. You want to learn about the authors and the author's life and really what inspired them to really write this book. You might want to watch some interviews. You might want to watch some courses, from somebody who's written a lot of horror books, in that demographic. You might want to take one of their courses, one of their classes, one of their seminars, one of their master classes, to really get a very close look at, the mindset that they're using in order to write those type of books. And so that's a lot of education you're gonna have to do there. But let's just say, because this world is full of knowledge, You decide to just pop open that faucet and just let it loose. So again, what happens? You open your mind to things like, let's just say, I don't know, you want to pursue maybe sports, maybe soccer. Then let's just say, then you see soccer and you're like, damn, that soccer thing looks cool, So then you go and you start going into soccer, and then you start watching some soccer videos, and you start watching soccer games, and then you start watching interviews with the coaches of the soccer teams and stuff like that. And then what happens? You start to deviate from your purpose. You start to go in another direction. And the thing is that this can be pretty tricky to your mind, because in your mind you're like, oh, I'm learning this whole new industry. I'm learning these new things, right? I'm learning about soccer. I'm learning about this. I'm learning about that, And you just open the faucet. And then let's just say from that, you jump to something like, I don't know, you jump to like... maybe you want to learn about music, so then maybe you want to play an instrument. So now you jump into, I don't know, playing the guitar, like just say. So then you see the guitar, you're like, oh man, I want to play the guitar. So then you start learning a little bit of the chords from the guitar and stuff like that. And you see my point here, like you just open the faucet to the knowledge, and you're laying a lot of knowledge in your mind. But here's the thing: what happened to your purpose? What happened to the whole writing stuff? Now you're dividing the amount of knowledge you're receiving. And sure, at this point, if you still haven't found the one thing that you want to do in life, the one thing you want to commit to and pursue all the way, then sure, fair enough. You can go and pursue this, pursue that, pursue a bunch of things, until you find the one thing. But if you already committed to one thing and one thing only, or perhaps maybe you committed to 4 or 5, why are you pursuing more than that? Why are you opening the faucet of knowledge? I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of people saying out there that it's a bad thing to be ignorant, that ignorance is bliss, and that ignorance is actually no, ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is like this thing that you don't want in life. You don't want to be ignorant. You want to know everything. You want to be informed of every single little detail that's out there. You never want to be ignorant, because ignorance is bad. Ignorance is for people who are lazy. Ignorance is for people that are dumb, and people who are lazy, people who just don't care about the world, and who are narcissistic and all this shit, right? No, actually, no. Actually, you know what? Ignorance is going to happen to everybody. Let's just be real. Ignorance is just going to happen to everybody, because everybody's just interested in different things. And so, like I said, not everybody can know everything. Yes, of course, there's going to be people who are much more aware, much open-minded to certain topics than you are. But the same thing can be said in reverse. You're going to be more open-minded to certain things that they will never be open-minded to, because they just don't care. They just don't have the passion for it. And that's perfectly fine. So here's the thing. If you're watching this video and you're an introvert, make sure that you control that faucet of knowledge. Make sure that you have control of what knowledge is going in and which one you're deciding to leave out. So make sure that you're very, very aware of what purpose you're pursuing right now. And like I said, if you're still trying to find your one thing, what I would suggest is that, sure, try a couple of things. Maybe for like a week, you try a huge variation of things. So you play soccer, you play the guitar, you go write, you go try out music, you try to do programming, you try gaming and stuff. So you try all these things. So make sure that when you're trying all these things, make sure you keep a good note of which ones are actually calling the most attention to you. And then what I would say is pick 3. Pick 3 like that are very like strong. Ones 3 that you really feel very passionate about, that you feel very like congruent, you feel very happy to do, you feel very excited and stuff like that. And I need you to commit to those 3. So go all in those 3. So really study hard for those 3. And then once you start studying very hard, once things start getting very challenging, then that's when like things will start to fall off naturally. But of course, you still want to go all the way in with all these things just to see, which one you're willing to actually take the pain for, and which one do you see that that's more congruent to who you are, really. Because once you start to push yourself, once you start to be more disciplined, more motivated, you're going to start to see changes in yourself. and that in of itself is going to start to change you and stuff like that. And so this is exactly what you want. You want something to you want to change. You want to feel the change. And so once you feel the change, then that's when you actually start to see, like, okay, like which activities actually, you know, making me feel like more of myself. Where can I be more of me? You know, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. You know, which one of all these can be me? Because that's really the one you want to pursue, the one where you can actually explode and really tap into your potential and really use up your strengths. That's the thing. You know, when you don't have a purpose, that means that you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So once you start doing these activities, you'll find out what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. So you obviously want to pursue something where, you know, all your strengths are being used, or the majority of your strengths are being used, you know, because that's where you'll be able to excel. If these are your strengths, then that means that you're going to be able to do so much with that. You know, do not pursue something where, you know, that one activity demands the majority of your weaknesses. Because if it demands a lot of your weaknesses, you know, you can push yourself to get your weaknesses to a degree where you become very competent, but you'll never become like, you know, high class. You'll never become like really, really good. And, you know, that's really what we all are about here in this channel. It's about, you know, getting you to become the best individual that you can possible, and really finding the one thing that's going to make you explode and make you, you know, a top class performer, whatever it is that you choose. And so if you pick something where it's mostly your weaknesses that are being used, then that's a very, very bad thing to be going after, because it's just your weakness. So you have to pursue something that's really your strength, and something that, you know, that comes very naturally to you, that you're talented and that you have a passion for. And really, that's what it comes down to. So here's the thing: you got to control the faucet. You got to control how much knowledge you're letting in. Because if you start to let too much knowledge in, and knowledge that's really irrelevant to whatever purpose it is that you're pursuing, then you're very well guaranteed that you're going to start going off course. Because it's just like let's just say, for example, you know, this is probably not the best example, but I can't think of any other example. But just think of it this way. You know, you're a guy, right? So mainly my channel is for guys. That's why I'm using a guy as an example. So let's just say you're a guy, right? And you're already committed to, let's just say you're committed to a woman, right? You have a girlfriend and you love her and everything. What's gonna happen if you just open the door to your house and little by little you start letting in like different types of girls? You just start letting them in. Right? First of all, how do you think your girlfriend is gonna feel? Very offended, right? Now think about the purpose that you're pursuing right now. Sure, your purpose, your big goal, your big ambition, you know, it can't talk, unfortunately, but if it could, believe me, that's exactly how disrespectful you would be to your purpose and your vision. Exactly like that. All right? Exactly like that. It's like you being in a committed relationship and you just start letting women into your life, you know, women that are completely irrelevant to the current girlfriend that you have right now. And guess what? Eventually, you know, you're gonna wanna, if these girls are really offering themselves to you and they're tempting you, they're telling you like, hey, you know what, you go with me, you're gonna have this type of future, you go with me, you're gonna have this type of future. And that's really what all these things are doing. You know, you go, you see soccer, you're like, hey man, you can become a really cool soccer player, world class. You can become a world class guitarist. You can become a world class whatever it is, you know. And you're like, oh shit, you know, I could become world class at that and at that and at that. And like, yeah, that's not a very good approach. So that's why you got to control the faucet. And yes, this means that you're going to have to be a little bit ignorant. You're going to have to be a little bit ignorant to the other things that are out there on purpose. So I myself, I'm very ignorant to certain things out there because I just don't want them tempting me. I don't want nothing to get in the way. So what I do is that I open the faucet, but only for the things that I really like to do. So let's just say, for example, like videos like these, you know, I open the faucet and I try to learn what it requires, you know, to make really cool videos like these. And I've put in the practice and everything in order to get these videos to be as best as possible. And I do the same with my other stuff, you know, with writing. I also do writing and stuff, and I also do music, and I also do marketing and stuff like that. So I've opened the faucet to those things because those things actually you know, they matter to me, and I'm currently pursuing each of these, you know, and trying to see which one I'm gonna really stick around with for the rest of my life here. And so I open the faucet to those things, but I'm not opening the faucet to things like guitar. Like, I personally don't find any interest. Like, I've held a guitar before, and I've played it a couple times. I've never played it like good. I just sort of like played around with it. Like, I literally played it like I played it like a toy or something, you know. And I didn't find any interest to it. So guess what? I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to guitars. You know, sure, you know, I know how the guitar looks and everything like that, but I'm not very technical. Like, you know, I'm not like a guitarist. I can't really tell you everything about the guitar and stuff like that because I just don't know, and that's on purpose because I don't really care. It's really not. It's really not going to contribute in any way to like to the things that I'm currently doing right now, like marketing, writing, and stuff like that. Like, what, like that? It's just not gonna help. Sure enough, sometimes, you know, you may find yourself in a position where you actually are gonna learn about stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe you go to a museum, or maybe you have a friend who really likes to talk about guitars and stuff like that. So then that knowledge will naturally come to you. But here's the thing. That's you just being a good listener. As an introvert, that's pretty good. That's perfectly fine. You know, you'll still attain. I'm not saying that, you know, just block out everything. What I'm saying is, don't proactively go and open the faucet and start to let knowledge like that in. Don't go and actually, you know, proactively start learning about shit that you don't give a fuck about just so that you're not ignorant, right? I'm telling you, ignorance is okay. It's okay when you're pursuing something because you want to commit. You want to go all in whatever it is that you're learning. And sure, you know, once in a while, you know, you can still go and open the faucet here and there, you know, but open it very lightly. And the reason is because, you know, sometimes you need to take a break. Like I said in my take a break video, you know, where you go, you take a break and you go do something that's really completely irrelevant to your industry. But that's just really for fun purposes. It's not really, you're not opening the faucet in order to, like, you know, open a whole new avenue there to start going and pursuing this one thing. That's really just for you to just, you know, go and mess around and get your mind kind of distracted, get it off the topic that you're currently, you know, pursuing and stuff like that. That way you're able to take a break. But other than that, don't do it. Don't open the faucet. Make sure you keep your faucet very controlled. And yes, control it with some ignorance. Make sure you're ignorant to the things that really don't matter to you and that are not going to contribute to, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. And other than that, yeah, drinking coffee today. Oh yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure you control that faucet. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification icon. Make sure you hit that like button if you actually like the video. Remember, like I said at the beginning of the video. And yeah, there's going to be 2 videos right here so that you guys are able to watch more of my content. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video.